How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. As 2021 approaches us, the future of the NBA will become a mystery the next few months. The good teams will contend, bad teams in the lottery, but some of the young teams off to the start they need. Older guys will decline, younger ones on the rise, many remains the same. Here are my 10 takeaways for the first week of the 2020-21 season. It's time to give up on Andrew Wiggins. Stop believing the hype. It will go down as one of the biggest letdowns in NBA history. All the hype in high school, one of the most talked about prospects the last 10 years, his 7th season in the league, 0 All-Star appearances, 1 playoff appearance, empty stats, usually on bad teams, no hunger, no desire, no killer instinct, inconsistent. Golden State would have been better off keeping D'Angelo Russell or trading him elsewhere. The fact that Wiggins got a $150 million contract with Wolves management begging him to promise to play harder, the biggest red flags of all red flags. You can't teach effort. Wiggins simply doesn't have the killer instinct, hasn't really improved since year 1, way too passive, having all this talent, all the athleticism in the world for what? If this was 2014, many predicted Wiggins would be a top 3 player in the NBA by now, got the nickname Maple Jordan, tricked us all. All along, he's Maple frauding, playing terribly with that fat contract. Golden State fans sick of him already, Minnesota fans glad he's gone. The 25-year-old is who he is, not legit to make a good enough impact on a serious team. Onto a very serious team with a very serious player. Kevin Durant is back with a vengeance. The 32-year-old looks sharp his first 3 games, still the best scorer in the NBA, can get a bucket anytime he wants, sometimes too unselfish. The pull-up from 28 feet, wet. The crossovers and finish at the rim, second to none. Before the Achilles, Durant was on his way to winning a 3rd title with the Warriors. Many believe he was the best player then, and so far, playing like one of the best players in the league. Many media outlets highly disrespected him, not putting him top 5 is an absolute travesty of all travesties, shamefully disgraceful. Those media outlets should be ashamed of themselves. Still gets a lot of hate from his Warriors days. KD gotta do him, get buckets, and put the Nets in contention. The Cavs have a bright backcourt future. How about Sexton? Larry Nance Jr. gave the backcourt duo the nickname. Colin Sexton looking like a first-time All-Star, averaging over 23 a game on 50% shooting, over 44% from 3 after the Jordan Clarkson trade. The young fella's the real deal, 3-0 to start the season, couldn't ask for a better start. So much for finishing with the worst record in the East last season, finished 24th in assists a year ago, now dishing the ball at a high level. Nance Jr. and Garland also came out to ball. The organization wanted Sexton and Garland to resemble Dame and CJ of the Blazers, and many laughed at their face. Those haters gonna eat their words now. There's a reason why those guards were high lottery picks, figuring out how to play together. How about Andre Drummond looking encouraging? 20 and 15 to start, showing a little more heart than his Detroit days. JB Bickerstaff looking like the answer all along. The team will go through some struggles, but better days are ahead. Domantas Sabonis is legit. Yes, there could be an argument to be made. He might be the best center in the East, right in the conversation with Embiid and Bam. One of the most skilled bigs, has everything in his arsenal. Just because he's not fancy and doesn't have the highlights doesn't mean he's not elite. The best player on the Pacers without question. The 24-year-old has been breathtaking to watch. He's not a low-key star anymore. He is a legit star. The ability to finish around the rim, inside, making him impossible to guard. The footwork and fundamentals, second to none. Super efficient and doesn't take bad shots. His passing very similar to his father. The Pacers should not be Vic Oladipo's team anymore. It's Domantas Sabonis' team, whether you like it or not. He was also top 5 in rebounding last season at 12.4 a game. I bet many of you didn't know that. The Clippers are still the Clippers. Paul George simply not trustworthy at all. After a nice 2-0 start to the season, Kawhi gets an elbow in the face, misses a game, the team got absolutely destroyed, abused, annihilated, humiliated, demolished, obliterated, and embarrassed in every way imaginable. The biggest absolute disgrace travesty of a performance, down 50 at halftime, absolutely unacceptable. Being an NBA team, not just an NBA team, but a team that's supposed to be contending for a title. All those players who suited up Sunday afternoon should all be fined $50,000 for their disgusting performance. If you don't show up to ball every day when millions of people have lost their jobs and you still have yours and you don't do it properly, thank God there were no fans at that arena to watch that brutal beatdown. Paul George taking full responsibility for that mess. How much responsibility can he accept from Pandemic P to a blown 3-1 series lead to 10 points in Game 7 to a 51-point beatdown, PP performances after PP performances. If the Clippers want to be taken seriously, they can't not show up to these games. If they lose by 10, okay, they had a bad night, but down 50 at halftime, inexcusable. Sometimes I question if they're really that hungry or they're just a bunch of whiners. If those Clippers Sunday afternoon were in a boxing match, they would end up looking like Nate Robinson. Trusting the process, not the Sixers. But how about Markelle Fultz? Philly looks more and more idiotic for treating their former #1 pick, getting Jonathan no-impact Simmons. Orlando getting Fultz looking very promising, maybe the savior the franchise needs if he can stay healthy. His $50 million extension might just turn out to be the best bargain in the coming years, looking like his college days. Great comeback story. If he can continue averaging around 20 points a game, I might just have to apologize for not putting him on my most improved player list. It's not actually the real regular season yet. Good teams are still in preseason form. How about Sunday night? Hornets beat the Nets, Cavs blow out Philly by 24, Knicks beat the Bucks by 20, and Golden State barely beat the Bulls. Lakers start 2-2. The upset of all upsets. The most shocking, New York beating Milwaukee, who hasn't played that well to start the season. The Bulls are a mess of a franchise. Maybe Jim Boylen wasn't the problem after all, and the young guys should stop crying about practicing too hard. That franchise has been a complete joke since Jimmy Butler left. Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward looking great for Charlotte. They have a better chance to make the playoffs than the Bulls, and Golden State lucky to survive and get the first win of the season after the refs missed a 5-second inbounds violation. James Harden too valuable to trade for Houston. No matter how frustrated he is with the Rockets, he's still a top 5 player in the game. Any trade, including Ben Simmons, would not be enough in exchange for the beard, who's the Rockets franchise player. Scoring's just in his DNA, can drop 40 anytime he wants. So what if he looks overweight? He can still ball. Just his motor come playoff time, he usually disappoints. I won't be shocked if Harden stays with the Rockets for the full year and finishes top 3 MVP candidate again. Golden State no playoffs. Kelly Oubre, the biggest travesty of them all, being 0 of 31 to start the year on non-dunk attempts, shameful. Making history for the wrong reasons, a nightmare way to end 2020. Taurean Prince, the worst of the worst, absolutely terrible on all cylinders, pathetic, shameful, horrendous, and awful. It's an absolute travesty. Prince tricked the Nets into signing a 2-year, $29 million extension in 2019, the worst NBA player to get serious minutes. I'd rather have Reggie Jackson on my team instead of the horrible Taurean Prince. He stinks so bad on the court, needs to rinse, cool off every game. If he wants to get hot, go eat those mints. Every time his shot goes up, here's a hit, it ain't going in. Disgustingly awful for the Nets. No idea why the heck he even gets playing time. Not only does he bricks, how about those air balls? A complete dumpster fire. If I was Brooklyn, I straight up release him for being so awfully bad. He hasn't just been bad to start the season, he's been bad all of last season. No wonder why the Hawks gave him up for nothing. The Nets should have known better. One of the biggest mistakes for Sean Marks. If the Nets wants to lose game, playing Taurean Prince will give the team L's. His bricks also reminds me of Anthony Bennett. Those were my 10 takeaways for the first week of the 2020 NBA season. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe for more content, more good stuff coming soon. I love all of you. See you next time.